Results happen at Positive Changes Hypnosis.
My name is DeRee. I am 60 years old. I live in Dublin, Ohio, and I have lost 40 pounds in 5 months. I was not an overweight little girl. When I got married, then things changed. I started fixing food myself and realized that butter and sugar actually tasted really good. A lot of times I think I was eating so much and I'd get sick and then I would eat some more. So it was a terrible cycle and it made me feel miserable. I wouldn't look at myself in the mirror. I didn't want to see that person. It wasn't me. It didn't feel like me. I have been married for 40 years. I have been dieting up and down for 40 years. Before I went to Positive Changes, I would get up in the morning and I'd already be tired. I love my grandchildren. I take care of them 3 days a week, and they would come to the house and I'd pick them up, but my back hurt or my feet hurt, or I would have heartburn all day long. And when they left in the afternoon, I was exhausted, always exhausted. It wasn't the way it was supposed to be. Now when the kids come over, I can lift them, I can swing them around. I turn on the music and we dance, and I never even think about it. I can hop and skip. I taught my granddaughter how to skip and run. We go outside and I run around the circle and I can keep up with them. It feels good. It feels really, really good. And when they leave at the end of the day, I am still full of energy. I still have things to do that day. And it's been a wonderful experience. Almost every year we take a really nice vacation on an airplane, and I can remember walking down the aisle in the airplane. What was going through my mind was not the ocean that we were going to go to. What was going through my mind was the fact that those people were looking at me and hoping that I wasn't the person that was going to sit next to them. That they were looking at me and thinking I was going to take up more than my seat, and please, please let that woman go by and not sit next to me. And that's a horrible feeling. That's such a horrible feeling. Now, when I go down that aisle, I think to myself, actually, this is kind of funny, but I do think to myself that I bet they're hoping that I'm the one that sits because I'm smaller and I'm not going to take up, because a lot of people are heavier and they take up a lot of room, but I don't think anybody feels that way about me anymore. I would have occasions come up where I had to look nice, or I wanted to look nice. And one of the biggest occasions that came up was my father's 95th birthday party. I had my one outfit that I wore everywhere, and I went to get dressed and I'd put on my outfit, and it was awful. I had no choice. This was the day of my father's birthday, and there was no other choice. So I just had to take a deep breath, and because I knew there were going to be a lot of pictures, and believe me, I usually avoid all pictures before I went to Positive Changes. I'd avoid them all. Those pictures that I got back, they were awful. They made me feel so terrible because I looked terrible. And they made me realize that that really wasn't me. That heavy person in those pictures was not me. I couldn't believe that I allowed myself to become that person. So it was really hard to look at that person. And it was soon after that I decided that I needed to do something about it. And that's when I decided to go to Positive Changes. And now, look I can go shopping. I don't have that many clothes, but everything I put on, I feel like I can put on a t-shirt and I feel like I look so much better than I did on that day that I had to go to that party. I saw the commercials on TV about Positive Changes, and the people looked real. It looked okay. I thought, I'm gonna try this. I had to do it. It was now or never. I was all set that if there was a lot of pressure, if they were going to demand that you sign this contract today, I was going to get up and say, thank you very much. I don't sign contracts like that. But it wasn't like that at all. And I went in. The people at the desk were very pleasant, and I sat down and filled out a questionnaire, which was right on target. And I asked her where was the scale, and how do they, are they going to measure me? Because usually they do on that first visit. And she said to me, she didn't think there was a scale anywhere in the whole office. There were no scales, and there was no measuring. She said to me, you have a scale at home, don't you? And I said, yes. She said, well, you can keep track of your weight. Oh, wow. This program was for me. This was the right program for me, because she's right. I can keep track of my own weight. I know what I want to weigh, and I know when I lose weight. It's embarrassing to have to weigh yourself in front of a lot of people, and it's degrading, and I can do that at home. And that was a wonderful feeling. And when I walked out of the office, did not sign the contract that day. And I walked out of the office, and I called her the next day, and I told her I was in. And from there, that was the beginning of what seemed like a miracle. When I go to Positive Changes, the hypnosis part is, I would say, a lot like going to a spa. When I go to Positive Changes, I leave like I have had a relaxing 2 hours of being comfortable and relaxed. So I look forward to going. I always feel like it's my time. It's my time that I give to myself. My husband has always been a very supportive man, and he supported me through the whole thing. He thinks Positive Changes is the best plan I've ever been on, mostly because I never cried. I was never sobbing. I was never sitting there envying his food. I wasn't hungry. He really couldn't believe that part. He has told me that this has been the best plan I've ever been on. I don't think that my changes are permanent. I know that they're permanent. I absolutely know in my heart of hearts that I can stop worrying about my diet. I have found myself, and I know myself now. I have the person back that was supposed to be there, and I have no doubt in my mind that this is a forever thing for the rest of my life.